Heresies, hypocrisy, philosophies, fear and shock factories, pseudo-porn mockeries in poppy fields, blocking swinging shots without Moroccan shields, industry demonic thrower versus folks in stocking wheels, coffin fields empty, buried in the battlefields, working on the streets is walking in some cattle fields, King Alfred Bluesum, lover mental snoozing, sleepwalking and talking, cell phones are soothing, minds disappearing, genetic memory erasing, don't even have a job but they get you for tax evasion, hot like a frying pan, crying fam, lying men, use gadgets, firemen, no loyalty, just buying friends, no credit, debt slaves, walking over paved graves, enslaved, enraged, marriage to death, prearranged, Mike Soupy Genie, bomb tracks bikini, stupid niggas call my first bucket hat when they see me, but won't ask a thing or drink the water that I bring, but when the Pope comes, they're kissing on the string, they rather drink a rapper's flow from the black fountain, Pied Piper got the dead, lined up in the thousands, confusion with illusions, infusion with sorcery, won't give up my birthright no matter what they offer me, no deal, push the red button, I'm going home, close my eyes, Yasanel and Vendome, the fire that we put on Rome, make them all shake, Islamism grand chic, not spelled like shake, open minds, not scanned on when you enter my zone, I wouldn't call it murder when I snap the neck of my clone, trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter, see the space with harder, no making me a martyr, third eye and larger, aura is my armor, when I plant a seed in my soil, rhyme farmer, use the almanac, sorta like an almanac, keep listening to sleepless hip-hop insomniac, Moorish MC, call me that acquiesce, don't fall back, just fall back, any rapper after 95, all whack, their flow just trickles like drops on icicles, rappers need training wheels on their rhyme-sickles, keep people's mind pickled, in a lost realm, when it comes to Moorish MCs, I'm at the helm. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. See the space that's harder. No making me a martyr. Third eye and larger. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Invasion. Trying to escape with the Moorish temple charter. See the space that's harder. No making me a martyr. Third eye and larger. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Aura is my armor. Invasion.
Take a good look at my foes. They so exposed, facing the 50 years old. Sourdough, gluten free. Fofo scoping up in that tree, I called them satellites. Why? Cause they hardly pointed upright. Their job, they have to lie. Soon as they capitalize on a ticket to court games, attorney playing judge and the bench sitting. Only there just a practitioner, but me the final decision. Stack you up in all the prison. Battery in the cell, got your E-range. Musical ball on the iron, try to melt the steel with a teary stare. Catch a guard off guard slipping, teaching that we all more clicking. Heels of Dorothy Gale end up in Morocco tripping. This I'm a big, that's all I need to prove it. Got my own time to do it. All I need to do is, this I'm a big, this I'm a big. That's all I need to prove it. Got my own time to do it. All I need to do is, this I'm a big.
Yes, we know it's the city. Big Cat World Champs, not Vancouver Grizzlies, not the 6 or Toronto. This is Morocco, silly. Al-Aqsa Maghreb, green star on the flag that's red, pheasant turban on the head. Living what the prophet said. This is an empire, not a continent, you liars. Black Los Indios are really Moors, said the friars of Cortez conquest. Aztecs are Olmecs, far west inquisition, kill shaman and queen mothers, stole golden munitions. High priest abolition, death or convert to a Christian. Bible and cross, Tordesillas treaty mission. Blessing the guns, indigenous children, killing nuns. American board and residential schools, fools with axe and help funds. Playing games with statutes, revised by her birds. Enforce the Constitution, stop enforcing empty words. And speaking in color, foreign jurisdiction assumed. Should have listened to the Moorish master with the turban and the plume.
Just I'm a big, that's all I need to prove it. Got my own time to do it. All I need to do is just I'm a big, just I'm a big. That's all I need to prove it. Got my own time to do it. All I need to do is just I'm a big.
To see the path to build the will build, persistent, rods we beat, and clear on the goal we foresee. Terminology, empire, development inspires those that are meant to inquire on knowledge that's been retired, quote unquote. Since you don't know, we rejuvenate truth. Spreading info, choose how you grow for thyself amongst roots. Dispute until you trust. Trust is a must. To some degree, fill up yet also flush. Health is wealth. Builders do agree. It's all up to we. Words we choose to use. The more truth is diffused, the less that you are confused. Don't abuse power. Notice it may flourish. It's sour. Some make it, some take it, some give, some receive, and some cower. An hour of decision will know thyself's true position. Either represent this people or an adjective unequal. Would see through for few is opaque for some. Under sun, nothing new. Fresh fire will grow till done.
Read our pay every day. Uplift the feet cause we all base. We enforce the law and we obey. Forefathers from before is still today. Reading my Quran and my Torah. Universal laws in more rays. Read 4 chapters, receive it 4 ways. Great divine love rules our verse. Before I circle blocks, man, I circle 7s first. You bust the image, but your rhymes hurt. Declare 13 disrespected earth. Love, but it's all in God's plan. Today's mathematics don't judge a man. Unity of life, embodiment of truth. I'm responsible for every deed, cause I seen the proof. No, but true. X, do I have to draw it out for you? Cause nationality is not a color I can use. Jerry Spruce, standing on my square, even without shoes. On the highest authority, spirit of blue. Marcus Coffee, whirlwind times 2. The world's in the wind when the trumpet blew.
Stand up, go into your bathroom. If you got a big floor to ceiling, cut the light on and stand and take a good hard look at yourself. You are the Moorish government, you know, and it took me a long time to get to understand that concept. I self-law am master. If I can govern myself, if I can govern my household, that's what I should be doing. Why should I walk out of my door and then leave everything that I know about myself in the house to go out and adopt something that I have no knowledge thereof? Offense. So we need to stop asking that question. I ask myself this question. If not me, then who?
Death and wisdom, my friends, intelligent creatures, guardians of sacred knowledge, Olmec features, secrets of the afterlife, manifest the present day. Dirty Moors and scoundrels lose their heads in a pleasant way. Deceit and deception, negative past thoughts, keeps awareness on point. Spirit messages never off. Inner realizations, encounter the higher selves. Next plane existence explains my consistence. Without a foe, you never know, so past most resistant. Divinity, my twin flame, side chick and mistress. Metaphysic, Kabbalistic, Almarak mystic, patriarch, papistics. Make my thoughts sadistic, so indigenous. Call me Americanistic, invoking the ancestors. Saracen cryptic, suns on rotation, flows ecliptic. Shatter all illusions, reveal the realistic. Sitting in the dark, holding the light marvelous. Recognize the artifice, skin so carbonous, hair so antenna. I feel them from Vienna, myriad of virtues, lessons in reptilian henna. Enlightenment seekers won't find it in mainstream. Focus as a laser, stay balanced like a beam. not even a gymnast. Whenever I flip this, as above, so below, get out when within this. Don't think I'm a slave cause I speak in English. Drew, I'll leave the water, watch your flames get extinguished. Living in your higher, lower self is relinquished. Reputation of master teachers, call it distinguished.
Before books Canaanland Moor presents Common Sense Quick.
Legendary, bury me in the North Case Cemetery, February the 4th case. Son of Mary, day ahead of my born day. Independence and law makes it a little of a lost case. With case laws, we break them down like Jericho. Keeping all my lions tamed, I'm Chris Jericho. I'll keep a mask on deck, I'm Rey Mysterio. Fake pandemics announced over the radio. Annoyed with the game, the joys and the pains. I'm Rob Bass, mixing with rock the hard way. I was in a lost state. Prophets told me up right, brought me to a lost gate. Cooking like I'm Sorbet, prepping like I'm Denzel. Malcolm X, Deja Vu, Roman J, Israel. And no clue, I lay in plain sight. The people still can't see it, so the snakes still showing up. Stakes still high, so the race still going up. Warriors of the North Gate, we not slowing up. Born in the manger, sworn to be savior. Walk through the valley of the shadows of the death grip of slavery. Looking for life, the book of Genesis. Astro plane entrances, invoke the nemesis. Abstract images of past lives kicking in. Danger, running for your life, finishing.
Morris or Moor, key man or oracle. Using Trinity powers, decipher allegorical. Lost and metaphorical, holy books are metaphysic. Facts like a dirty Moor or a Drew Ali critic. Calling them Thomas or Walter and get your face caved. Or cut like a close shave. Drowned in my brainwaves, squashed by heat waves. Activating Kundalini. Abyssinia invaded by Mussolini. Selassie I in exile. Reptile in Genesis, niggas appearing real. All I see is false evidence. VAR feminists, stomped on by elephants. More like more prejudice, but want Moorish benefits. When you feel the cold magnetic resonance. Apis horns of the sacred book are maleficent. Great cosmic mothers, return to blessedness. No pestilence, ace all the testaments. Tap into remembrance, never to forget again. Use energy right, not put spell effects on men. Wandering the earth plane with no veiling shades. Keeps you a mental slave as the horizon fades. It's been decades since Christian crusades. Not enough rebellions, too many vigil bouquets. Holding on to the fence, burning on doomsday. War ruled by Mars, it might be on a Tuesday.
Canaanland Moor presents Common Sense Quick. What we do here is we add some common sense thinking to everyday situations or comments that may arise. Want to give it a try?
Look at this bus that goes by in my neighborhood. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What is this? This is on the side of a bus rolling through your street. Rolling on the side of your street. Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want, black women?
Peace to all the Moors. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors. Forgot to pull this up. All the Moors worldwide. Honors to you. Honors to you. Honors to you. Jezebel, impudent woman. after Jezebel, the wicked Tyrian princess who married Ahab, king of Israel. From Hebrew, Isabel, a name of uncertain origin and meaning. Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia. The Jezebel stereotype. The Jezebel stereotype. Remember, this Ferris State University don't debate Moors. Go talk to these people if you have a problem with this. Perhaps she remembers her great-grandmother who wanted to protest but only rolled her eyes and willed herself not to scream when the white man mounted her from behind. Andrea Williams, 2001. The portrayal of black women is lascivious by nature, is an enduring stereotype. The descriptive words associated with this stereotype are singular in their focus: seductive, alluring, worldly, beguiling, tempting, and lewd. Historically, white women as a category were portrayed as models of self-respect, self-control, and modesty, even sexual purity. But black women were often portrayed as innately promiscuous, even predatory. This depiction of black women is signified by the name Jezebel. So we always make sure that we check in with Noble Drew Ali. No matter what comes up. See some madness come up? Brother driving around with naked cartoon women on his bus. And then police murder one of these black people and they burn the whole city down. But their brother riding around the neighborhood with pictures of the Moabite Moorish woman. The Moabite Moorish woman has her in every single position that you could think of on their bus. And you're not dousing that bus in gasoline and setting it afire, but you're going to put a sledgehammer to Christopher Columbus statues though. But you're not going to put a sledgehammer to this guy's bus. You talk about you honor the woman and all this BS. You honor Jezebels. That's who you honor. Because you have no honor. These are goofballs that are throwing finance at them because they know how to swing on a pole. Doing their BS. Doing their Sodom and Gomorrah BS. And then when they show it to you in your face, you're still playing games? Well, for all the young men out there, open your ears so you don't get caught by the Jezebel. Because there's this name of unknown origin. This feminine entity, we don't know what her name is, but we know that she emulates she emulates the goddess. But she's not here for the stuff that goddess is about. She's here for the stuff that Noble Drew Ali warned all young men and told them to watch out for the harlot. Don't get caught up because she got an anka and she's a harlot. She's a goddess. And those are the ones that are in the realm of consciousness. The ones who know how to turn a man into a pincushion, and then this man just has problems all through his life and he doesn't understand how come this stuff is messed up like this, and it's because this witch. Remember, we're talking about the Jezebel ones. We're not talking about the righteous witches. We're talking about the Jezebel ones, the unknown origin one, infiltrator ones that came in here and messed up every man's life who was a good man. Right now, because of these Jezebels. We're not talking about the queens, but what? The bitches. Not the sisters, but what? The bitches. Not the young ladies, but what? The bitches. That's what we're talking about. The Jezebels. And don't debate Moors. Go debate Jeru. Because he even told you. But you don't want that. You want Kodak Black grinding on his mom and all that. That's what you want. You want the guy with a bus with you on it, you dumbass, at his concert, and he has you on the bus with your ass and your breasts and your everything else out, and you're not in a rage as if the KKK burned something on your lawn. You're not in a rage like the freaky gym teacher who rub on your girls in gym class, and they come and tell you, no, that he's a teacher. Excusing the BS. Well, Drew Ali laid it all out. Nobody has any excuses because he's 1913. So anybody after that, they better be repping as hard as he was repping. Especially with regard to letting it be known that there's Jezebels out here. Holy instruction and warnings for all young men. Beware, young men, beware of all the allurements of wantonness, and let not the harlot tempt thee to excess in her delights. Don't let the harlot get you. Because the harlot's not going to be concerned when it's your little girls seeing these buses driving by with them on it in rather explicit sexual positions. Because if you're standing there and you're not burning the stuff down, you're saying that's all right. You're not arguing nothing. You're not throwing eggs at it even. Not even that. So remember, it's your little girls who you're selling out to these pedophiles, luring them while you stand there. And then, oh yeah, let's just see what we have going on here. See what we have going on here. 3 hours ago. He has no place to speak on this. He just wants attention. The devil always speaks with a forked tongue and comes with an ulterior motive. Righteousness isn't in him if he endeavors to make it so. Someone's perspective is that a European who's a devil, right, is calling out the pedophile in the area. You know, this guy touched all these children and stuff like that. Make sure your children aren't around him. And here comes the Negroes. Here comes the blacks, the coloreds, the conscious, the whoever else. Here they come. And guess what they're doing? You're the devil. You're Edomite. You should kiss our shoes because you put our people in slavery. You're such a racist. Stop killing our people. You murder all of our people. Excuse me. Knock on your block of wood called a head. Excuse me. Do you understand that he's not talking about you? Do you understand that he's a modern European foreigner who has a nationality and he doesn't want his little children seeing this? And he called you people out. Black women, you gonna ride with this? Black women? You got all this, you're the woman and all that stuff, hair blowing in the wind and all that, locks blowing in the wind. And you're letting this pedophile come out here and try to lure your children. And you're talking about go to the concert. Is it because me Mills? That's how his concert's supposed to be. Every city. Me Mills. Yeah, you gonna do anything up there? You're just gonna stand there. That's how his concert is supposed to be. But it's not gonna be all that. They're gonna have the sold out show. Why? Because our people want to think like this clown, fake clown, pretending to know their self, pretending to be high priests. Talking about somebody who's a devil. The devil's telling you. So the devil comes up. And the devil says, hey, why would you sit there and let this guy who you go buy all his albums put you on his bus in some nasty positions? Why would you do that? Nah, well, you're the devil, so we're not hearing what you're saying or whatever like that, because you're the devil. We're going to let him. No. This European is telling the truth. This European's not lying to you. But what are they doing? It's all part of the pedophile agenda to get your children. Because you already know you can't control them. I deal with your children. And the only ones that have a chance are the Moorish ones. The only ones that stand a chance are the ones that have a nationality. And we thought that as children, we got sold out. Our stuff was amazing compared to what these children got right now. Call it their childhood. Your childhood? You're 7 and you're the dad. You're 7 and you're the dad. What childhood? Because this Jezebel, this harlot, lured this man into some stuff because he was a dumbass or whatever. Like how you falling for the harlot. Oh yeah, you didn't get the lessons. Oh yeah, you didn't get the lessons. That's why you're falling for the harlot. The madness of desire shall defeat its own pursuits. From the blindness of its rage, thou shalt rush upon destruction. Therefore, give not up thy heart to her sweet enticements, neither suffer thy soul to be enslaved by her enchanting delusions. The realest one was probably maybe 5-6 years ago. There was a meme, and the meme was about childhood, and the picture was a front lawn with bikes on it. And at that point, I realized that, oh yeah, our stuff wasn't actually bad. We actually really had a childhood. These ones today, they don't know what a childhood is. They're an adult at 1 year old. They're an adult at 1. Because of this same Jezebel, who there's no origin for that. And then Drew Ali's making reference to the harlot, tempting thee to excess in her delights, which are enchanting delusions. You falling for the harlot, and on top of you falling for the harlot, you have your children falling for the harlot. That she's the one, she's the Snow White, the harlot. This is her right here. You know, don't forget. Don't forget. This is her right here. This is her right here. Who posed for the picture to be on the bus. That's art, right? Art imitates life, right? So if art imitates life, then Who are these Jezebels that said, hey, we need somebody for the bus? I'll do it. Then what did you do? Learn your children. Learn your children into the pedophile factory. And you're playing games. European trying to put you on game. Wake the hell up. You're talking about he can't talk. He's not supposed to say anything about that. The hell are you talking about? His children have to watch this BS too. Why wouldn't he be mad? Just like the Black Lives Matter people who want to lay down in the street or whatever. What do you mean lay down in the street? They're going to drive over you. You want to lay down in the street? They're mad. You're laying in the street. What you want? Nobody said call yourself black. Nobody told you call yourself black. You're choosing that. If you choose that, then take what comes with that. Don't get mad. So now you're on the bus, naked, with a pink dot over the lips of your stuff. And you think these people are playing around with you? You're really still debating Moors? We only read you about 6 lines. 6 damn lines. 6 lines. At line 6, you should already have your radar up and know about these harlots and Jezebels out here. But that's why we say they make it a cartoon to lure the children. Because the children wouldn't even care if it was real people on it. But because it's cartoon and it's colorful, it's exactly for the children. They are luring your children into the pedophile factory. If your children don't know the truth about their nationality and their birthrights, they will get caught up in the enchanting delusions and become enslaved. And their enslavement is going to be forever. The foundation of health must supply the stream of pleasure, shall quickly be dried up, and every spring of joy shall be exhausted. In the prime of thy life, old age shall overtake thee. The sun shall decline in the morning of thy days. But when virtue and modesty enlighten her charms, the luster of a beautiful woman is brighter than the stars of heaven, and the influence of her power it is in vain to resist. The whiteness of her bosom transcendeth the lily. Her smile is more delicious than a garden of roses. The innocence of her eyes is like that of the turtle. Simplicity and truth dwell in her heart. The kisses of her mouth are sweeter than honey. The perfumes of Arabia breathe from her lips. Shut not thy bosom to the tenderness of love. The purity of its flame shall ennoble thy heart and soften it to receive the fairest impressions. So, to realize the harlot and know about the delights and know about the self-pursuits that are going to lead you to destruction, understanding the sweet enticements and the enchanting delusions are going to let you know that there has to be an opposite to that. And the opposite to that is the garden of roses smile and the innocent eyes like the turtle and the kisses and the perfume smell of the lips and the tenderness of the love, because there has to be an opposite. We're looking to get you to be on the side of the opposite, not the side of the Jezebel, because that is going to lead to destruction automatically. It's unavoidable. Just remind you again.
Bus. Look at this bus that goes by in my neighborhood. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What is this? This is on the side of a bus. This is on the side of a bus rolling through your street. Rolling on the side of your street. Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want? Look at this bull fucking shit. Look at this shit on the side of a bus. Is this what you want, black women? Is this what you want? Is this how you want to be respected? Is it?
Right. As we know, the etymology of black is pale. We know this. You might not know, but we know. I see some brown people bent over and stuff like that. I don't see black anything. That tire right there is black. His arm is black relative to her ass. So, behind the veil, he's talking to pale women who support this BS because they know that they're losing them to it. They know this. But remember, let's go back again. Go back again. The belief that blacks are sexually lewd predates the institution of slavery in America. European travelers to Africa found scantily clad natives. This semi-nudity was misinterpreted as lewdness. White Europeans looked into the racial ethnocentrism of the 17th century, saw African polygamy and tribal dances as proof of Africa's uncontrolled sexual lust. Europeans were fascinated by the African sexuality. William Bosman describes the black women on the coast of Guinea as fiery and warm and so much hotter than the men. William Smith described African women as hot, constitutioned ladies who are continually contriving stratagems how to gain a lover. The genesis of anti-black sexual archetypes emerged from the writings of these and other Europeans. The black male as a brute and potential rapist, the black woman as the Jezebel whore. The English colonists accepted the Elizabethan image of the lusty Moor and used this and similar stereotypes to justify enslaving blacks. In part, this was accomplished by arguing that blacks were subhuman, intellectually inferior, culturally stunted, morally underdeveloped, and animal-like sexuality. whites use racist and sexist ideologies to argue that they alone were civilized and rational, whereas blacks and other people of color were barbaric and deserved to be subjugated. The Jezebel whore is the lusty Moor. And again, it's going back to Juali letting you know about the harlot, that even she's a Moor. And only because she's a Moor is why the powers work so strong, because it's going opposite of what it's supposed to do. Because it's a Jezebel. Go back again, that Juali laid down the lesson on it. Do not get caught up. Because by getting caught up in it, you become this entity that never existed. And then you pass that on to them, and them now, being where they are now, they have a higher sexuality. That their stuff is off the charts. Because you have them being the lusty Moor, not the Moabite. You have them being the lusty Moor, not the Shekes. You have them turning into the lusty Moor and not being Allah in woman. And keep in mind the whole theme that this is a stereotype. Oh yeah, we might as well put that one in. Because one thing that makes it easy is checking, just to be sure. Just to be sure. Stereotype. 1798. Method of printing from a plate. From French stereotype. Printed by means of a solid plate of type. From Greek stereos, solid, and French type, meaning a stereotype plate, is from 1817, meaning image perpetuated without change, is first recorded 1850, from the verb in this sense, meaning preconceived and oversimplified notion of characteristics typical of a person or group, is recorded from 1922. So before 1922, there was no stereotype. Now keep in mind the timeline, that what they're talking about with the Jezebel and all that only applies to those who don't have a nationality and have used the names that allude to slavery. That Juali told these Moors, you're not Negro black colored. But once you claim to be that, then all this slave stuff applies to you. And you're going to have to deal with it. Because you're justifying it by taking the position. The Jezebel stereotype was used during slavery as a rationalization for sexual relations between white men and black women, especially sexual unions involving slavers and slaves. The Jezebel was depicted as a black woman with an insatiable appetite for sex. She was not satisfied with black men. The slavery era Jezebel, it was claimed, desired sexual relations with white men. Therefore, white men did not have to rape black women. James Redpath, an abolitionist, no less, wrote that slave women were gratified by the criminal advances of Saxons. This view is contradicted by Frederick Douglass, the abolitionist and former slave, who claimed that the slave woman is at the mercy of the fathers, sons, or brothers of her master. Douglass's account is consistent with the accounts of other former slaves. Henry Bibb's master forced a young slave to be his son's concubine. Later, Bibb and his wife were sold to a Kentucky trader who forced Bibb's wife into prostitution. Now remember that there's multiple parties. Because remember, there's also Big John, who was giving it to the slave master's wife when he went to town to go do whatever, because she couldn't stand him, her European counterpart. But what we're talking about is this Jezebel jurisdiction that they're using to lure your children. These people are not having stuff, like Moor said in the chat, they're drawing the stuff like children drew it. It doesn't look like no adult made this. Because we've seen tour buses and you could pretty much wrap it with anything. But for them to go this far, to have it look like children's drawings, they're playing on your psyche. You can't see it because you're dumb Negro, black colored. European sees it because it's the same slave master stuff. But they've evolved. They evolved because look at this European telling you right now. Why would he care? Why would he care if it's not for his conscience that something is absolutely wrong with this picture? Something's absolutely wrong with some brothers running up to old people and punch them in the face. Something's absolutely wrong with that. And seeing that something's wrong with police murdering people, but nothing's wrong with this guy's bus, shows the level of incompetence. Why you're telling people that you better sort your stuff out because the priesthood is dead. There's no one coming to save you. You are at the mercy of these heathens. You are at the mercy of them. And they are going to run your children into the ground with this madness. Because you avoided, and you've been trained and conditioned to avoid nationality and birthrights and noble duality and all that, and know about everything else. Since you don't want to know about noble duality and you don't want to know about your nationality and birthrights, this is what you get then. This is your alternative. Right? This is your only other options.
This is how you want to be respected in life? This is how you want to look? This is how you want to be portrayed? Stand up to this bullshit. I'm from Philly. I actually should support me, Phil. This is fucking disgusting bullshit. Look at this lady. Look at this. This is on the side of a bus where little girls can pull up and see this shit. That's her fucking pussy. Let's not mistake what this pink dot is. This is disgusting. This is satanic bullshit. I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of... Look at this shit that you're getting on. This is for everyone to see. Little girls are seeing this crap.
Let's hear that again. Think he's just talking about little black girls only? Really?
This is for everyone to see. Little girls are seeing this crap. It's fucking crap. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. I'm so sick of them just rubbing Satan.
This is what you're getting. This is what you're getting. This is why you better start studying. You better wake up. You better wake up and realize what this stuff is really, really about. Matriarchal society in ancient times. These are ancient Canaanites, right? And ancient Hittites and ancient. Okay. With only a small amount of research, anyone can find evidence and proof that the world used to be ruled by women, or at least that females were worshipped and respected as being the givers and nurturers of life and creation. Evidence shows that goddess worship goes back at least as early as 25,000 BC, long before patriarchal rulers and man-made and male-dominated religions. There is also evidence of matriarchy, in which the females was the head of the household. Also the family name and lineage handed down through the females of the family. Some people might assume that matriarchy only occurred in Amazon tribes, but women had only become Amazons during the transition period when men tried to take over land and rule over women. Those male conquerors destroyed the matriarch cities and goddess temples, and the women tried to defend against this violence by having to become fighters themselves. The women who survived, but who did not stay behind to submit to a man, would have been forced out of their cities into rural areas to form tribes and barricade themselves from the violence of man. This, of course, did not stop men from also attacking the Amazonian tribes. Whether it was the attraction of a city of women or the conquering of more land, the invading men would selfishly not stop until they conquered, stole, and destroyed everything around them. What it had been like in matriarchal society before the male conquerors invaded. Could women have been just as selfish and violent? One would only assume that if they compared to women of today, we cannot assume that those matriarchal women over 27,000 years ago were the same as women nowadays. Today, women have been influenced for far too long by patriarchal government, patriarchal schooling, male-dominated religions which had replaced goddess worship. Since then, women have been prevented from practicing goddess worship, have been burned as witches, are lectured not to form sisterhoods, are warned not to listen to the influence of their mother and mother-in-law, and are educated by school systems that are controlled by a male-dominated government. Up until the 1950s, women were manipulated to stay in the kitchen to cook for her husband and to stay home and care for the home and family. That many have been 60 years ago, but surprisingly, that housewife still exists today. Although most women are now in the workforce, those who are not single and living alone and independently, many of the working women who are married still rush home after work in time to cook dinner for their husband and children. So even though women have more rights than they had in earlier patriarchal times, today there is still less women in government than men. Many countries will not allow women to rule as president. Most women still get paid less than men who do the same job position. Men still control religion and are the head of the church, and many men still desire to be in charge of the home and marriage. So what had it been like in ancient times in the matriarchal world? There are many books I have read which I recommend to you, which give a good analysis on matriarchal societies. Since many ancient goddess temples and written records were destroyed by male conquerors, the evidence is sadly limiting. However, there is still a great number of documents, statues, artifacts, and ancient ruins which were unearthed in Middle East, which do supply the archaeologists with enough truthful evidence to base their theories on. Here are some of the basics that I have learned about these ancient cities ruled by women. Women ruled because they were worshipped and respected as the creators of life, because they could create a new life within their own body, give birth to it, feed it with milk from her own breast, and raise and nurture it to grow to become an adult. In other words, women are viewed as being God. Men were used to help create a new life within the woman. Genealogy, family name, was passed on through the females of the family, matriarchal lineage. Women were the head of the household. Men were not abused. Men respected women. There were rituals and festivals to celebrate the goddess and a new birth. Harvesting was important since food meant survival. Many women were priestesses of the great goddess Inanna, Ishtar, Astarte, Asherah, Nut, Au, Set, Isis, Ma'at, Lilith, Demeter, Artemis, Diana. One evolved into the next as surrounding countries adopted each other's beliefs and renamed the goddess. Could bringing back matriarchy save us from all of man's destruction? It does not take much to come to the obvious conclusion that before selfish males conquered ancient matriarchal cities and land, there had been peace and happiness. There is no evidence of war, violence, and destruction before then. Matriarchy's return might be the answer to all of today's problems. As I have stated above, women have changed since matriarchal time due to man's destructive and selfish influence. So it would take some time for women to unlearn their bad habits of jealousy, scorn, and insecurities against other women, and wrongfully allowing men to dominate them. But it is something we can accomplish if we all truly want a better world and we all put in an effort to achieve it. Society, matriarchal society in ancient times. But they don't want you to be that. They want you to be the lusty Moor. They want to lusty Moor you into submission. Everything. The portrayal of the black women as Jezebel whores began in slavery. 1950s depiction of black women as Jezebels was common in American material culture. Everyday items such as ashtrays, postcards, sheet music, fishing lures, drinking glasses, and so forth depicted naked or scantily dressed black women lacking modesty and sexual restraint.
Bus! Look at this bus!
Right? For example, a metal nutcracker depicts a topless black woman. The nut is placed under her skirt, in her crotch and crushed. Items like this reflected and shaped white attitudes toward black female sexuality. An analysis of the Jezebel images in the Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia reveals several patterns. Many of the Jezebel objects caricature and mock African women. For example, in the 1950s, Zulu Lulu was a popular set of swizzle sticks used for stirring drinks. There were several versions of this product, but all show silhouettes of naked African women of various ages. One version read, "Nifty at 15, spiffy at 20, sizzling at 25, perky at 30, declining at 35, droopy at 40. There were versions that included depictions of African women at 50 and 60 years of age. Zulu Lulu was billed as a party gag, as illustrated by this advertisement of the product. Right? And anybody's house who had a bar had those stir sticks. At least in the late 70s and the 80s. These were the stir sticks. There was drinking going on. Like the depictions is what we're talking about. Right. Same thing that they're doing on the bus. It's just on a bus, not a caricature. This bus could go into the racist memorabilia stuff, but ain't no European that made that bus. That's a brother's bus. An analysis of Jezebel images also reveals that black female children are sexually objectified. Black girls with the faces of pre-teenagers are drawn with adult-sized buttocks, which are exposed. They are naked, scantily clad, or hiding seductively behind towels, blankets, trees, or other objects. A 1949 postcard shows a naked black girl hiding her genitals with a paper fan. Although she has the appearance of a small child, she has noticeable breasts. The accompanying caption reads, "Honey, it's waiting for you down south." The sexual innuendo is obvious. Another postcard, 1950s, shows a black girl approximately 8 years old standing in a watermelon patch. She has a protruding stomach. The caption reads, "Oh, I is not. It must be something I ate." Her exposed right shoulder and churlish grin suggest that she's protruding stomach suggests from sexual experience, not overeating. The portrayal of this prepubescence as pregnant suggests that black females are sexually active and sexually irresponsible even as small children. The belief that black women are sexually promiscuous is propagated by innumerable images of pregnant black women and black women with large numbers of children. In 1947, a greeting card depicting a black mammy bears the caption, "I keeps right on sending them." Inside is a young black woman with 8 small children. The caption reads, "As long as you keeps on having them." So don't let them get your daughters. Raise your daughters to be the matriarchs that they're supposed to be. Do not let the pedophile machine turn them to a Jezebel. You'll be sorry. You'll be sorry. All right. Al-Hajj Malik Bey, this European is on point. Much respect. Noble Drew Ali told us the European would tell the truth. Osiris Messiah. Always takes a modern European like him to do the work we should be doing. He's doing a very honorable thing. JWL. Your statement is vague and false. There are plenty of our people out there writing and telephoning. What this man has done is great, but don't sell our people short. This will be dealt with, I assure you. Well, considering it's a brother's bus, people already sold themselves short. Considering it's a brother's bus. It's not a European bus. The brother's bus. Right? And some people want to know why would a brother even do this? Why would this be what you're repping? Why? What's the point? What's the point? Don't let them play you and your children out your birthrights. Playing games with you. Don't let them do it. Because you will be sorry. It's not an assumption. It's not an assumption. You will be sorry. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors. Honors to all the mothers, all the matriarchs, the true matriarchs, not the Jezebels. We see you. We see you, Jezzy. You're not going to run any game on Moors. Honors to all the matriarchs. The real mothers. The real mothers who didn't let their children fall to the wolves. Honors to the mothers who saved themselves, saw the light, and did what they're supposed to do. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. We already know he's the man. Honors to Drew Ali, the Prophet. Peace and love to all Moors. Islam.